Finnegans Wake is not a novel, or a book, really. It's a notebook, and an unfinished one at that. Foucault, in discussing the notion of the œuvre, asks what one is to make of letters, notes, reported conversations, transcriptions of what he said made by those present at the time. In short, that vast mass of verbal traces left by an individual at his death, and which speak in an endless confusion so many different languages. Finnegans Wake is Joyce's collected and incessantly edited posthumous notebooks, viewed as an interactive materiality between him and his community, discourse, nation, home, time, and history. It is one man's attempt to situate himself, to parse out the particularities of his experience and of his world, liberating the everyday from its imposed mundanity, elevating it to the status of many singularities twinkling in the field of the everyday. It planarizes all knowledge, hierarchies, forms, acts, expressions, concepts, and experiences onto a plane of immanence, creating a cascading series of concentric nodes resonating in manifold ways as chords. Odd details and chance occurrences, insofar as their unique singularity is brought to the fore, are allowed to resonate in synchronicity with one another, forming unique constellations of desire. One of the regulating principles that is a source of conflict and struggle for HCE/Shaman Sean/Joyce is, therefore, the relationship of the individual to his community, and the anxieties that accompany those who ruminate on this relationship earnestly. One feels imbricated in social anxiety precisely because for Joyce, the social is everywhere. The other never leaves us, even in our deepest moments of solitude and sleep, following us into our dreams in a mix of sinister malevolence, absurd parody, and comic flippancy. The exigency of conflict and disorder in Finnegans Wake is the fall, viewed not as an or event, but a self-renewing limit to our horizon of being. The fall is incessantly staged as the cogs of the world machine slip and slide past each other, groping for the gaping gaps that will let them cohere properly. Seen in this way, the proper, the orderly, the rational, and the whole are exceptions to the rule, not the defining feature of the world. In a world constituted by myriad interlocking parts, each sliding along planes and gradients of motion in myriad relations to each other, a stochastic process of chaos is the only rule, a fractal logic, which is to say there are no rules in the formal sense of discrete principles applied generally and abstractly irrespective of the content of each moment of application. The fall is this constant erring movement, of falling out of step with the world waltz. In response to this, Joyce attempts to work through a process of reconciliation in Finnegans Wake, not unlike that of Stephen and Bloom in Ulysses, whereby one changes one's relationship to these cyclically reified limits of possibility that we incessantly stage through the performances of everyday experience. Everyone is daily reifying the struggle against a universe winding down, falling out of place, falling out of grace. But, and this is Joyce's Nietzschean influence, comes squarely to the fore, in so doing, one comes to be wary of this state of grace, of perfection, wholeness, unity, unperturbed bliss, the synchronicity of this world waltz spoken of earlier. The universe does not seem to lilt to a common rhythm, but plays on a variety of them. Therefore, for Joyce, doubt, suspicion, wariness, and unease are key categories of experience. They, in Finnegans Wake, are the exigencies of any action staged. For one cannot escape the feeling, all too common to those of us who struggle with anxiety, that in Finnegans Wake, the action arises from the suspicion, not the other way around. There is always a sense that thoughts carry their own implications and expectations, altering the manifold of perception in palpable ways. In considering the various implications of different thoughts, concepts, expectations, and discourses interacting with others in all manner of absurd ways, Finnegans Wake can be seen as a series of fragmentary sketches, the likes of which we'd find in a sparsely planned but critically important notebook. Joyce approaches the act of living as one that puts us in profound contact with the brilliance of the mundane, absurd, comical, and seemingly irrelevant everyday. In making such things the very substance of a work of literature, Joyce attempts to write the music produced by such notes. He therefore approaches each day with an attitude of hope and attentive listening, putting him in contact with all manner of scraps for feeding on, as if he were both man and insect. For, as Joyce writes in Finnegans Wake, the world's a cell for sitters to sit in.